I'm sure everybody has something better to do than sit around and listen to us flap our jaws about stuff that really doesn't matter to anybody. But oh heck, I don't think there's anybody involved in this that isn't a little bit of a storyteller to me this whole deal is about family and friends and all that and this week it hasn't been a disappointment. Boy, you come here and that great presentation that we just had by the Latimer family. There's no shortage about the impact that they've had on the beef industry and the Hereford breed especially. 20X online Patriot. Those bulls did tons for the Hereford breed and the industry as a whole. So it's great to have a presentation like that at the end of it. The history of this is I think what keeps us all together. I'm proud of the people that my family have been able to interact with. Some of the titans of the industry and all that, and when we go ahead and recognize the people that are still involved in this, and Jaden's a young guy, and they haven't had the involvement in the purebred show side of it as long as some people, but something I do think is worth noting, the people that have, but then how welcoming the people that have been involved for a long time are to new participants in it, because you never know when that, I hesitate to say dynasty, but some of these big operations are dynasties. If you want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Dallas Cowboys or stuff like that. Now the Kansas City Chiefs. Just referring to football. The Chicago Bulls and basketball. There's dynasties in this, just like there are dynasties in all walks of life. And I think it's great that we recognize those people, and I think it's awesome that a lot of those people are very willing to help a young guy that wants to expand and become more active in it. As a young guy up here, a guy that I just met a year ago. I'm sure you've had tons of interaction with some of these long-term breeders that motivated you to become more involved, haven't you?
Yeah, Mark, you're right there. If it wasn't for older breeders or cattlemen in the industry, I probably never would have made it this far or had the experiences I have. And it's just super cool to have their opportunities and have people that come out here and support you, and it doesn't matter where you go, there's always somebody and somebody that's in your corner and has your back, and know exactly what Mark said. I do agree with. Another side we got to look at here in Bashaw is how welcoming everybody is, and it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing or who you are. Even everybody's super welcoming, and I remember my first time here. I was a little scared and nervous, never been, and I do got to say this is one of my favorite shows there is, other than of course the Simmental show, and other than the Simmental show, this is probably one of my favorites. It's everybody's together, and it's a whole lot of fun, and the kids everybody gets to know each other better, and it's just a whole lot of fun, and it's probably one of my favorite shows there is.
And there is no better place than this to raise your kids. This industry, this place, boy, I tell you, I anybody that knows me knows that I never planned on being a dad. My aspirations have always been about the next show, the next animal, and all that. And lucky for me and so many of my friends that life has a different plan than what you do, and they bring these children into your life, and they change it, and they change it for the better, and they bring you closer to everyone that that you've ever known, because you have yet another common bond. And I've got our youngest sitting here in my lap, and his name is Bear, and boy, he can't act like a bear, or he can act like a grizzly bear or a teddy bear, and he was our unexpected one, and we're not supposed to pick favorites. Boy, I dote on him quite a bit because he is literally a special little guy. I can't wait. I can't wait for all of my young friends to have the same experience that I've been able to have. I mean, we're at this point we're sitting here and we're still, I ain't gonna lie, we're still searching. I mean, on this live stream, if we have any aspiring candidates, I've got a very good young friend that's looking for a mate, and Nikki Ross of NRCS. I mean, we've got a catch out here. If there's any young suitors that would like to come and try their hand, I mean, it ain't very often that you have somebody that comes along that is established and respected and all that. And I mean, Jaden's sitting here, and I just bet if he wasn't about a decade her junior, I mean, I think she'd be off the market. What do you think, Jaden?
I don't know how to reply to this one.
She's a high-end.
Well, there, Mark. From the outside, she seems all nice and friendly, but let's be for real, she can be a little scary once in a while. She likes to pick on a guy a little bit, but I mean, hey, if we were just a few years older, I guess maybe, but age is just a number.
It is, especially if you ask my wife. I think what is her? She done scurried off. I think there's 13, 14 years, in between us, and I guess I spot her that time so she could keep up. I mean, it's just kind of one of them things in this day and age. I mean, there's some slow rollers, and there's some of these guys are a little more high speed, and a lot like these livestock we raise. We all have that one every now and then that boy, we think if we could tone this thing down attitude wise, we got a winner, and Lord bless us for not using pharmaceuticals on our women, because boy, the cattle sure helps out every now and then.
Well, the cattle, they sure do help out, and on the woman's side of things, I don't know what to tell you there, Mark. Your wife, I don't know what she was doing there. You can definitely tell somebody's getting a little gray hair, and somebody still looks like a babe.
Well, I guarantee you, I think there was a little bit of weakness that went into her decision-making power there. I mean, we all do it. We all buy that bull and put him in the herd and have a little regret afterward, and so, I mean, heck, I guess the thing is, I wasn't as easy to ship as some of them bulls that you bought later on.
Well, yeah, I guess so. That is very true. I guess there's one thing to be said about, I guess, being the herd sire. Am I right?
I guess. I don't know. The problem is all the faults do fall on you, doesn't it? I mean, and there again, I do think, though, don't you think in the beef industry too much emphasis is put on the herd sire when it comes to birth weight and phenotype and all that? I mean, everybody wants to buy semen on this bull and put it in, and maybe they're middle of the road cow and they're disappointed when they don't have a high seller, I mean, I'm sorry, fact of life is it's a 50-50 deal, near as I can tell, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I do got to agree with you on that one. I think it is a 50-50 deal, and maybe we got to point it a little more towards the female in life, right? And maybe that's where half of it comes.
Well, I guarantee you, I mean, when we start talking about, udder quality, longevity, how long do you keep a female in the herd? I see in there again, maybe it's because of AI and all that. You see a lot more sire groups kept in the herd than cow families, and so I don't know. It's kind of one of those things like, I don't know. Maybe we don't need to be so tough on the sire. Maybe the sire is only 50%. Maybe we need to be a little tougher on the cow every now and then.
And you know that's exactly right. In a way, if you're a little harder on your cow herd and watching what you're doing, maybe you can have a sire that's maybe not a $150,000 bull, and one that just goes out and works. But your females are good enough that they hold up their end and still raise a big enough calf. But at the same time, you know, maybe it's all right to be that good herd sire, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, I for sure think it is. I mean, you know, I think, you know, when you get away from the cow side deal, it's a lot tougher to sample a herd sire, and you know, because you have a lot of smaller calving groups and all that, and so, you know, it ends up being way tougher to be, you know, to really evaluate a herd sire and all that. You know, I do think in most of our most of the good friends that we deal with in the cattle industry, you know, they focus heavily on the donors. You know, they don't put so much emphasis on the sire. You know, and they're not afraid to have that sire that's give them a few good calf crops and keep them around. You know, they don't always just get rid of them. You know, they kind of keep them there. They let them sire a few small groups every now and then, and they utilize them in the way that benefits his attributes best, and you know, I mean, that's that to me, that's part about being a cowman, isn't it? You know,
I totally agree. You find good in one and you find good in the other, and yeah, everything's got a little bit of bad in it, right? But you gotta search for the good and try and breed the good into your cattle and your cow herd, and eventually, hopefully, you're stomping out just real good cattle that are structurally sound and really good. And
you know, you bring up a good point. You know, not everything's perfect. Everything's got you know, it's a yin and yang deal. There's as much bad in some of them as there is good. You know, and I hesitate to call his name out, you know, because he is a very influential breeder. He's on the Hereford board. He's a super guy. But there's a very good friend of mine named Hampton Cornelius, and he made the comment to me when we were talking about trying to you know, walk that fine line between phenotype and genotype, and he had a bad go with some genetic stuff a few years ago, and we were talking, you know, kind of mid-July, and he was explaining to me what happened to this bull, and he said, "Mark, you know what happens? I got one too many shots of bad in there." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, your cow herd can survive one shot of bad. It can't survive two shots of bad." And as far as a guy that's raised as many, you know, Denver champions, influential cattle in the breed, I'll never forget that statement. You know, that's a cow man, that's a breeder. Sometimes we can chase something a little too far down the rabbit hole, and we need to take a step back.
Well, now I have full on. I can fully have proof of that. Looking at our cow herd back home, we pushed cavities for so long that we started losing numbers in our weights in the fall, and everything was so cavities, and it seemed like our calves weren't really growing. We'd have 550, 600 pound calves, but that really doesn't work in today's market. You need them big. In today's market, you need them big calves that are going to hang well, and they're going to finish, and they're going to fatten, and they need to grow for you in the summertime, because that's where you make your money.
Oh, for sure. And as a seed stock producer, you know, that's one of those things that you always need to think about, because, well, we all like a good, you know, 7-8 hours sleep, but and we like the ability to, you know, kick them things out and not have to worry about, you know, going and checking them things, because you know, the calves are small enough. But if you don't have that growth at the end of the day, and you don't have really anything to offer your commercial buyer, you know, then financially that little bit extra sleep, you know, probably is going to end up hurting you in the end, you know.
You know, with that being said, Mark, we're a family-run farm, and for a while we were quite a bit younger, but we made things work, and there's always somebody around the cows at least every 2 hours, and we're all right with pulling a calf or putting up with something just for that little bit of extra weight. We'll check our cows throughout the night and watch them all day long because we have the ability to do that, and we do find it pays. So,
well, it's never, as a breeder, it's never as simple. Nikki's doing good work over here. Thank you, Nikki. You're doing a lot to recycle for Canada. In the States, we'd probably just call that a loss, but Nikki's doing a good job. She's saving the environment up here for you guys. But as a breeder and a producer, it's never as simple as I'm going to do calving ease, or I'm going to do pounds. A seed stock producer has a very high bar to meet, in my opinion, because a seed stock producer is always supposed to be walking that line, and they're trying to give their customers, their buyers, the most amount of pounds, the most amount of performance, the most amount of vigor, but still at the lowest birth, more workable product, than the next producer, and that's not something to be taken lightly. I mean, we're sitting here today at a livestock exhibition, and the focus is on kind of the end product right now. I don't think we put enough focus on the hundreds, possibly thousands of seed stock producers out there in the country that are every day, making those hard decisions when it comes to matings and all that are meant to benefit the end producer, or the cow calf guy, and there's so many of them that won't get any respect. Won't get any notoriety, I guess, because they haven't gone to a fair in a long time, or whatever. They sell their bulls private treaty. Maybe some of them do have bull sales and all that. I think it's a lower percentage of people that have bull sales than people that sell them private treaty, off the farm. Boy, it's a heavy weight that those people bear on their shoulder. Nikki,
Okay, we're wanting to take the picture here right away, so please come with your jacket and get on the bleacher where a whole bunch of kids are sitting, okay? As many of you as possible.
Nikki, that's doing the live stream today, she has a unique perspective. I don't think she talks about herself enough, but I've long before I knew her father, the stories I would hear about, Huey at 14 or 15 years old, hauling cattle to these shows, and I can't ever imagine Huey is an imposing figure, but apparently whenever he hauled cattle to a show, people knew that Huey showed up, and progresses through his life, and has a family, and now Nikki's extended family. They own the auction mart in Innisfail, and they run a bunch of trucks and place a bunch of cattle and all that, and they have a very unique perspective on it, especially compared to a guy like me. I focus so much on the purebred side of it, the show side of it. We talk a lot of production and commercial involvement and all that, because I do believe that's where this purebred side of it's based. But there are people that have stood in both sides of it, that have stood there in the show barn and gotten cattle ready for a show, and then they got to stand there in the auction mart and sell 3,600 head of cattle a week, and so kind of with that being said, I'm gonna. Nikki doesn't like talking a lot, but I would like her to just talk a little bit about how much it blends together, and how much the commercial producer, I believe, depends on the purebred producer to end up making it all work, because without the purebred producer, it's hard for the commercial producer to move their genetic program forward, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say our commercial guys are the bread and butter to our whole industry. When we're selling bulls, everyone shoots for the stars on wanting to sell to a seed stock producer, but it's your commercial guys that are going to make that are coming to your farm and buying bulls year after year, whether they have 50 cows or thousands of cows. You need those commercial guys to come into your place and buy bulls from you. And everybody's looking for something different. And then, like Mark said, my stepdad and his family have the auction market in Ennisvale. And so, the purebred side of things, we're always trying to chase one goal. And especially if you're showing cattle, you're chasing that goal, you want to win a banner. But then there's also the side of it of you're marketing bulls, you're chasing to those commercial breeders and stuff like that. And those commercial guys are chasing to get the high-selling calves that fall, whether they're selling in the fall or we have lots of guys that sell their calves in January, February type thing, depending on when they calve.
Exactly. And with that being said,
Everybody to the
excuse us for a minute.
backdrop. Everybody to the picture backdrop. And I think we're okay even if you don't have your coach. So if you're an exhibitor, get onto the bleacher.
With that being said, I don't feel like we ask, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I don't feel like we ask the person that is sitting there, running an auction mart, the person that is actually buying a feeder calf, where they put their balance when it comes to evaluating cattle when they come through the ring, phenotype in a very short amount of time, and how much influence they put on genotype in a very short amount of time. I mean, I think I know the answer from the auction mart standpoint. And the order buyer, they don't have the time, the opportunity to look at their genetic profile. Do y'all have any insight when cattle come to the auction mart to evaluate, or make any records on the genetic profile of them, or is it mostly just wait and confirmation?
It's basically just wait and confirmation. I think Dusty could weigh on this more because she's at the auction market every day. Well, I guess this time of year they're there Tuesdays and Wednesdays because our regular sales every Wednesday. And then in the fall time, they live there pretty much every day with weighing calves on Sunday, selling Monday, taking cattle in Tuesday, regular sale Wednesday. And then when we get into late fall, we are having lots of bread sales on Fridays. So, Dusty, can you weigh in on the commercial side of things for us for the market perspective?
Well, I think what order buyers do look for are those reputation ranch calves that they do buy year after year. They've had success with them when they send them to the feed lot. But basically, you know what? Those good quality calves, they all sell good, and that's something that they do look for.
And so Dusty, and I'm glad Nikki brought you in because we don't honestly as purebred producers, we don't get enough time to talk to the people that are at ground zero, for marketing livestock, and how much. I know it'd be hard to percentage it out. How much knowledge do y'all have of genetic profile of the calves when they come through the barn? Is there much of any?
You know what? I'm going to go back to that whole reputation thing where, they see the guys that are spending some money on some bulls to improve their herds to get those growthy calves that weigh up in the fall and will produce for you. After they've been weaned and sold. And, I think they just look for the history with those same guys that their cattle just perform after they've bought them.
And so wouldn't you say it and the prices that we're seeing now that, there's probably still a lot of guys selling cattle on the grid and all that, but it's hard to argue with pounds right now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Cattle are worth so much right now. Everything from your butcher cows, your butcher bulls, and now we're starting to see some spring-born calves hit the market as well. We had pairs earlier on bring over 7,000 a pair, so that's a pretty good shot too.
Oh, for sure. So, I mean, and then it gets back to which came first, the chicken or the egg. You get that much invested in a just a production female. I don't even want to call her commercial because I'm sure there's purebred females that are selling for that. You get that much invested in them, and so then we get back to maximizing profit, which is this is a business, and it should always be treated like a business. And so with that being said, I'm not asking for you to give the people listening any advice, but at the auction mark on a weekly basis, pounds or data? Like what's going to bring you more, pounds or data?
You know what? Even those lightweight calves right now, they're selling like crazy too. So it's kind of hard to say on that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and that's that's one of those things. It's such a broad industry. It's very, very hard to ever get it down to this is the way you need to be doing it. Mm-hmm. It's the biggest part of the reason that my family's been able to survive in it, and I'm assuming y'all's family's been able to survive in it, is that there's so many ways to turn a profit in the beef industry. You can focus on so many different sectors. You can retain livestock all the way up until they get into the packing house, or you can collect calves twice a year and call it a day. Mm-hmm. And it's such a broad, unique industry that I hear every now and then people preaching to me about the way.
All right, thank you everybody for coming for that picture. We'd like the cattle to come up here for the Supreme Quest, so start making your way down here. And also, can we have the person who is in the Grand Wagoneer with the license plate BXZ3180? Can we have them please move their vehicle? They're right in the way of somebody's trailer and they'd like to hook on. That's Grand Wagoneer, BXZ.
But when I hear people preach about the industry and you have to be doing this or that, I'm always amused because if you get out in the country and you go through the different cow herds, there's so much diversity in cows, the way people market them, the way we sell beef. Is it not one of the more unique things that y'all have ever been involved with?
Absolutely. And speaking on the marketing piece, there's so many ways people can market their cattle right now. So for us, we have to try to do the best that we can for every producer, whether you've got 5 head or 500 head to sell. We have to do our best to make you the most money all the time. We just celebrated our 70th year at the auction mart, so that's a big feather in our cap, I'd say, to be a family-owned auction market. It still is. It has, we started in 1955, and I don't think there's anything better than that true price discovery when you see those cattle come in the ring, and we'll have 12 to 15 licensed order buyers sitting there in the front row there to buy calves and fill the orders that they have.
Wow, that's impressive. That many buyers. That's just a testament to the
Hey folks, just a reminder, there is tickets available for a raffle for the Bashaw Egg Society. You can win the top prize.
That's just a testament to the integrity of the operation and all that. I mean, it takes a long time, and and just getting back to the diversity of operations. I mean, if every operation was the same, y'all would sell 90% of your cattle in 1 week, and you wouldn't have a single sale the rest of the year, and that just flat doesn't work for producers. You know, everybody has a little different approach to raising marketing and maximizing profitability, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. You know, and my husband gets asked now and then what's his favorite breed of cattle, and he says, you know what, we like them all.
You know, I probably mentioned earlier, I'm a Charolais kid by heart. You know, if anybody wanted to know, I was rooting for the Charolais all day long. That's what that's what raised me. That's my father. You know, started our business. You know, raising and marketing, and even though we don't haul them anymore, you know, I you can't get away from it. You know, it's something that sticks in your soul. You know, the base of our revenue now comes from Hereford, and then probably Red Angus secondary, and so obviously I have a soft spot in my heart for those. You know, an Angus cow is a stalwart of the beef industry, and a Simmental, you know, is what puts power and performance in them, and a Limousine and a Gelder are underutilized breeds in my opinion. You know, with the soundness of the bone and performance they have. You know, and I find myself all the time, you know, having to quail my want to you know, have an affection for a certain breed because of our involvement. But you know, with what y'all do, you know, it's a dollar and cents deal, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, for sure. And you know, and it's super competitive, right? Like, just to keep your customers happy all the time. You know, it's always tough when you lose a customer, but I always say, you know what, we can gain another one, and you just keep doing your best for everybody, and that's what makes it all go around.
Well, exactly, and you know, on the customer side of it, you know, I truly believe that if you set out every day to do the best by the people that you're around, you know. Not just your customers, your employees, your friends, your family. You know, the environment will protect you, mm-hmm. and we you know, we as people don't want to get off in the scripture too much, but there's only one perfect person there's ever been. You know, mm-hmm. and so we can't be perfect for everyone. We can do our best on a daily basis to try to, you know, move the industry forward. Mm-hmm. You know, I truly don't believe that you can be successful in this without the people around you being successful. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, with y'all's business, I would say it's kind of a given that you know, if your clients aren't successful, you will never be successful. So how much? I guess I do have a question. How many of the people that market livestock, you know, through y'all's business, and I assume it's a multi-layer business. I assume it's not just the auction mark. I assume y'all do some direct marketing, you know, some trucking, stuff like that. You know, how many of the people that use, you know, the auction mart or its different entities, you know, ask for your input on you know, what they may need to do, you know, breeding decision, marketing decision, you know, where you believe the industry is going. Like how do you guys get questions on that or not?
Absolutely. We get people that ask, you know, when's the best time to market their calves, you know, or anything, even, you know, some calves they left as bull calves. Should we cut them and then sell them? What should we do? You know, even when prices get incredibly high, that, you know, people are still, well, do you think they're going to get higher? You know, they're just always looking for that advice, right? You know, for a lot of people, that's their one big payday per year, you know. And
so it gets right back to the community of agriculture. You know, it's not as simple as providing a marketing service. You know, and that you know, obviously not everyone in Canada or North America can market livestock through Innisfail, you know, Auction Mart, but I do think a lot of people in the industry don't have especially in the smaller side of the industry, you know, the sub 100 cow herd, you know, operations don't have a good relationship with you know, a local veterinarian, a local auction mart, you know, somewhat, you know, there's a lot of good advice that comes out of those operations, you know, because inherently, if they raise a bigger calf and a more desirable product, they make money and you guys make money, correct?
Absolutely. It does work back and forth with that. Nikki, did you have something you wanted to
Well,
add?
I think one of the biggest questions that Danny gets asked anymore lately is whether these bigger commercial guys, if their calves should sell in a pre-sort sale that we have or in a regular sale, one owner way up. Dusty, could weigh in on that a little bit more.
Yeah, like we do pre-sort calf sales in the fall where the cattle are sorted by color, type, steers, heifers, bulls, whatever, and then sorted into big groups of calves. So it's very desirable, say for the order buyers, they can fill a liner load fairly quickly with calves there. But you know what? A lot of these producers that do run bigger numbers and very consistent quality with their calves, we do offer one owner weigh ups so they don't have to go into a pre-sort. We can sort them on their own, and that's something that we do at our regular sale. They'll be pre-weighed the day before, and then we make a catalog, send it out to our buyers. They get on the phone, looking for orders to fill and whatnot.
Okay, so just delving into the pre-sort deal just a little bit, and I'm asking because I'm curious. Are there criteria like let's say I have 30 head of calves. Let's say my buddy has another 20. Do y'all give advice? Do you suggest like, hey, we would like this vaccination program throughout the calves? I mean, does anything like that help out in the pre-sort deal, or is it just on color, weight,
Yeah, I'd say basically it's more on the color and weight and type. People that do have a strong vaccination program, those are generally the ones that are running those bigger numbers where the one owner weigh up would work really well for them. So it just kind of circles back to that whole reputation string of calves.
So it kind of ends up being, you have a multi-layered deal. You can weigh them up. Hey, we're got to be honest. We don't have the best vaccination worming program, down there where we are. Our personal cattle, they take a back burner, and so, I'm not going to be the one that calls anybody out on a vaccination and worming program because our priority is the show cattle, customer cattle that come in, and our cattle kind of always are left to the last, and so it's one of those things where it sounds like on the pre-sort deal, it's somebody that benefit somebody like me that we don't have. Because of time constraints or whatever, we don't have the best program, but we still want to try to maximize the dollar. We don't want to be selling 3 individual calves, correct?
Yeah, for sure. And that's where it works really well for people that, their calves do get sorted into a package, for the most part there, and it just benefits everybody, right? So you bring in your trailer load of calves there, and then once they're sorted into their groups there, so there's like it could be like a 50-pound weight spread, 75-pound weight spread in them. So color, type, and you'll get your British, your exotic, whatever, your replacement heifers. Those ones will rise to the top. They'll be in their own packages there. And then you own so much weight in that package when they sell the next day.
Exactly, and so I mean this is probably boring stuff that probably everybody knows out there. I got to admit I've been educated on it because we have sales like that down there around us, and you know on the commercial side of it, I'm a bit of a lazy producer. You know, when we get time to wean them, we ship them and all that. I see these sales that come along every now and then. I've never educated myself enough. Maybe this is something that doesn't benefit people out there, but I would hope it does. I would hope it educates people a little bit more on how to maximize profit. You know, in this day and age of high prices. You know, I realize that people aren't quite as worried about every penny, every dollar. For 70 years of being in it, you guys know more better than a guy like me. We're gonna get back to times where you have to maximize every penny on an animal, and the more you can educate yourself now, the better you're going to be, going forward. Correct?
Yep, you betcha. And even, you know what, cattle was what they're worth now, but you know what, the price of everything has gone up too, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. So that's where we just got to try to do our best for everybody. And
Oh, exactly. And I mean, it's a competitive market out there. It's down where we are. There's five barns, I think, within 15 minutes of us. That you can ship cattle, every day of the week. You can ship cattle 7 days a week if you drive far enough. And everybody's always talking about, what sale was best last week and what and honestly we've never looked into it that much. We look into it more so where we thought cattle were treated fair in the lean times, more so when what cattle brought in the best times,
Yeah.
And when we've had a lot of years of drought down there. We've had an amazing year this year. When we were having to move cattle in drought years, those are the barns that we go back to. Because those are the respected places that order buyers would sit in there when there was a lot of cattle coming in, and they knew where they could go and buy quality cattle that were going to perform for them.
Yeah.
And so there, I think there's an undeniable quality to dealing with, even if you got to drive a little bit of a distance. Dealing with a long-term operation. And just going back, talk about most people have a relationship with a vet or with a seed stock producer. You probably need to have that relationship, with your marketing agency. Wouldn't you think?
Absolutely, relationships are huge. It's everything, really. Everybody's important in the whole scheme of things. It's everywhere from our staff to, the truckers taking the cattle out of there. Like, it's all one big cycle, and everybody plays a part in it, and we all just try to do our best with that.
Well, and that's a side I guess we hadn't even touched on, and in the industry and society right now, we don't need to delve too far into to the negative sides of things, but there is such a thing as the best handling practices, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. You know what? We really pride ourselves in keeping our market very clean. It's a huge bill. Don't get me wrong. When you're cleaning that many pens and they're all cement, and we are cleaning pretty much continually around there, but it's all about the presentation when people come there and they see their calves and clean pens and
your staff, obviously, with an operation that size. I mean, I would hope you guys aren't out there on a daily basis. Nikki has scooped many a pile of manure in my house. I can't imagine she's out there on a daily basis cleaning those pens. So you have to rely on staff and long-term staff that handle the cattle and all that without a doubt when customer cattle come in, they're being handled with best practices.
Absolutely. That is true.
And so yes, you know, it looks like we're getting ready to start our Supreme Drive. It can't be more than a few minutes away. There again, my heart's beating fast because we've got a Hereford heifer gonna lead him in the ring. It looks like, you know, Jaden's come back. I hope he can pick up a mic here right away. I don't know. Maybe Nikki can keep us informed into how deep we need to get into it before we see a Simmental that's near and dear to his heart come in the ring.
Well, I know the show program I got, which was before we selected all of our champions from today. There's 22.
So no change.
Yeah, so there's some changes. So there's 22 already coming in, and then whatever we had qualify from today coming in as well.
So I'm going to call myself a novice. It's been the last 2 years I've been up here. I was up here a number of years ago. How many different females normally end up coming in the Supreme deal from today?
From today, I believe we will get our. If I look at the show program, we'll have.
And I don't mean to put you on a spot and need an exact number. I was just curious. You know, do we get a whole array of new cattle or?
Well, I believe the only ones that don't come back from today, I think, are the Pee Wee champions don't come back, but I believe our open classes come back in. Our champion from the open, our champion from the bred and owned, our champion from the commercial, and our champion from the purebred.
So do we have any idea of how many of them were pre-qualified before this?
Some of them would be pre-qualified from other shows.
And I'm not trying to put you on a spot.
So we're going to be anywhere from,
I'm
I
just curious.
say, 22 females in here to 25 females coming into the ring.
Oh, really? So yes. So you know, one obviously a lot of the females that showed up here today, you know, have probably pre-qualified. That's the reason they came and showed today. You know, the more times you get to walk in the ring, the more exposure you get. Correct?
Well, correct. And I like the junior program up here. Everyone's been going strong. Just about every week this summer, there's been a junior show. So lots of these heifers have been to a pile of shows, and including spring jackpot shows as well.
So, you know, and this is a question for both Nikki and looks like we have our judges. Nikki, would you like to tell us who our judges are? Because I don't know the faces like I should.
Well, Mark, I see Joss Pittman out there. I see Reese Wildman, and I believe it is your favorite showman, the Deeg boy, out there as well. And our other two judges, I am not sure. Our officials are going to have to announce these things for us.
Can we get a list of judges? Nikki doesn't know all of them. Yes.
Or do you want to text it to me?
Here, just take a picture of that.
Here, just read that real quick. One second.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, back in action again. Sorry for that moment of interlude.
So, our judges are Brent Stewart, Alana Miller, Annie, Chris.
Folks, I hope you're ready, because guess what?
And Joss Pittman.
It's the finale of the Alberta show season, and we're here and we are ready to rock. So, in first is entry number... Oh, wait, that is definitely not who... Entry number 139, she's on her way out there, but WBHR Moonshine 7M, exhibited by Mia Mackey, and she won at here in Bashaw. Then we have entry 141, PCF Millie 74M from Taylor Reed, also winning here in Bashaw at the Junior National Show. Entry 142, CML Pearl 442M from Aubrey Fraser. Entry 143, Boss Lake Miss Passion 414M from Brooklyn Bolter. Entry 144, Cinder Rosette 617M, exhibited by Tavian Yoder. Entry 145, Fisk Susie Q, 415M, exhibited by Blake Fisk. Entry 146, Rust Miss Beauty, 422M, exhibited by Riley Borson. Entry 147, Miss PCC Latte, 106M, exhibited by Scarlett Fowler. Entry 148, Golden Oak 1054, Magnolia 435M from Nevada Murray. Entry 149 enters now. That's Teron Jaybird 64M from Casey Adams. Entering now is entry number 150, RF Scream 4128, exhibited by Cordell Morrison. Now entering is entry 151, CD Linda 4200, exhibited by Darren Walker. Now entering is entry number 152, Miss Prairie Cove 417M, exhibited by Indy Fowler. Our first pair is now entering in. Entry 153, Fairland Barbie 36L with calf at side. Fairland sold out 1N, exhibited by Sadie Howell. Next up is entry. This is an added entry. It's not on your program. Entry 140, NFL Baby Jane 305L, exhibited by Jenna Sobkow. Then entry 154, Red Diamond T Lakota 2379. Exhibited by Hiller Gardner. Next in is entry 155, RPCC Black Lorry 244L, exhibited by Caden Dahlman. With calf at side, STBS Onyx 23N. Next in is entry number 156, RF Scream 3121. With calf at side, RF Scream 5141, exhibited by Cade Rancier. Next in is entry 157, PJH Miss Mocha 42L. With calf at side, PJH Espresso 42N. Exhibited by Peyton Hagel. Next in is entry 158, KT Cream Soda 3203, exhibited by Gracie Borison. Next in is entry 159, Brooking Rose 3030 with Caffett Side Riverfront 4 Mile 5089 N, exhibited by Paisley Robertson.
Anything you want.
Now entering is entry 160, Hazel with Caffett Side Peanut, exhibited by Hayden Kamla. Next in now here is entry 161, Mater Sugar 49L with Caffett Side Mater Ghost Rider 32N, exhibited by Stella Mater.
So we've saved
And our
the
last
best.
entry in is entry 162,
We've saved the best of the day for a long-time breeder exhibitor in this, Scott Bodell. I'd be lying if I didn't say that Scott is probably as close to my wife's family as literally anybody up here. And my wife's family have close ties. Scott, way overeducated to be involved in this whole deal. It is amazing that he has brought his children back into it, and showed us what it is to be involved in this, and then come back years later and use this program to develop your children into the good stewards of not only the business, the breed, but just good humans. So Scott, I do think you're the funniest human I've ever met. But go ahead and tell me why you want your children to be involved in this.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. That was very kind and not all true, but yeah, we were away from it here for 12 years. We sold the cattle when we moved away from Sherwood Park, and I went and worked downtown Calgary for a while. We worked hard enough to be able to purchase some land out by Sundre, and I always had embryos in the tank that we saved, limo embryos, but I saved for one day hopefully we'd have boys that wanted to show cattle. I have 3 boys, and coming here, like, the greatest memories I have are spending 2 months here every summer with all these people that are now the parents of all these kids, and when you have special memories like that, you want your kids to live what you lived, and you hope that you can recreate that and show them how special the cattle are here, but also how special the people are in the agriculture industry.
Well, I mean, I've got 2 questions for you. The first one is going to be why limos. I know why, because I can name off a few females that me and you've talked about extensively that I think are some of the better cattle I've ever seen in my life. She's a dandy. that Express Ranches produced and hauled. But the next question I have is what do you think is that draw? We flew in the other day and we went to Canmore and then eventually went up to Banff and all that. But my wife's the one thing on her bucket list is she wanted to go by Laura's store, and honestly, I don't know if I don't know the last time that my wife talked to Laura, but she wanted to go by your sister's store, and we took pictures in front of it. She didn't happen to be there; she was away on business. Where else do you think you find that connection that it transcends years, decades without contact with somebody, but you still feel like family?
Yeah, I mean, the memories are pretty real, and when you think back to what we did as kids, it wasn't all, we weren't always behaving, but we were always together, and this is as close to for not being related, this is as close to family as it gets.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's funny. Me and Scott had talked about this the other night, and our children are homeschooled, and we've lived in the same town for 15 years, and we don't know 10 families in the town, and we have a little get together, and people ask us, well, how do you not know this person or how do you know that person? I said, well, our family, our community is up to 1,500, 2,000 miles away. And we may not get to see each other, once or twice a year, but that is truly the thing that bonds are made of. I knew Scott's sister probably 15 years before I knew Scott. We met up again here last year, and he may not be coming across right now, but the funniest, most intelligent human that I think I've been around in a couple decades. And I'm so blessed because if I wasn't able to do this, I love Texas, but I would be stuck in a small town Texas and wouldn't get to meet all of these wonderful people that I've been so blessed to come and meet. All because of a cow. I'm sure, Howard and Wendy have shown me y'all's family place that was sold, there back years ago, and so I
want to hear you making a lot of noise and clap for these fantastic kids and these fantastic cattle
that were had with you and your family, and obviously it's something that has never faded away.
Yeah, I mean, we're so close, such a tight-knit group.
Well, I've been informed, actually, that they're somehow even better. These are the best cattle in the world, so let's hear it one more time for the great cattle out here.
And did everything together.
Oh, that's we were joking last night. There was a band that came out 2 nights ago. I guess it was a band that came out, and Scott and my brother-in-law David. You have to give me Ty Miller. You have to give me Ty Wilson Miller. You have to give me who were all the band members? Was it just you three?
No, my little brother.
All right, so now let's introduce our fantastic panel of judges that are going to be judging these world-class cattle.
Yep. Tom.
Our first
Fowler,
and youngest judge of the day is young Dane Deeg. He from Strathmore, Alberta.
And
he was one of the. His team
how
won
Jimmy's good. I needed to open up for him. And
judging the junior show team judging. Dane likes working on the farm. He has two sisters, and he is a big fan of curling. Likes to curl a lot.
And connections that were made back then.
Next up,
like holy man,
we have Alana Miller from Kimona, Alberta.
Is there anything in business life, do you think, that compares to that now?
With her husband Chase and daughter Heidi.
Don't you think you find relationships like this outside?
Next up, another one of our young juniors who were
the time is so intense.
Or an intermediate member who did well in the show in the show team judging. Joss Pittman from Kyle, Saskatchewan. She shows purebred Angus cattle and commercials, and she enjoys
in certain sports, you'll have teams that are that
And
close, but that's what this is.
And she enjoys rodeoing in the spring and fall as well.
The end of the summer.
Then we have Annie Christian Stewart from Pinoca, Alberta. She raises purebred Limousin
What makes these relationships and these bonds
Charolais and Angus with
I don't I hate to
influenced
interrupt you,
cattle
but
with her husband,
when you're
Bryce,
talking
plus her
about
parents,
sports and
they run Diamond
and there
City
again,
Ranch
I
West,
hate to over
and that's just west
romanticize
of
this,
Pinoca.
but
They have an annual
you know,
bull sale every
to me
March, and
this is
year it-
this is a
it is going
competitive
to be
event
marks
that
their 25th year
you know
of having a
you're
bull sale.
equalized. It doesn't matter how big you are or how
Our
strong
final
you are.
young junior,
you know, it's
who-
about
or
your
young
work
junior
ethic,
member who is
your
out there
knowledge,
judging is
your
the senior champion, Reese
you're paying
Wildman.
attention to those
Reese
people
Wildman
that came
grew up
before
in
you.
San
You
Guido,
know,
Alberta,
there's
working for
a little
Toa
guy out
Cattle
here
Company,
judging
or
that I
working
kind of
at-
tied on to
growing up with Toa
early in the
Cattle
week.
Company with
And
Kirk and Jill
I
Wildman,
really
as
don't know
well
how
as
he
her
got out
amazing
here. I
brothers,
mean,
Thomas
I don't
and
know if we
Ryder.
used him to do something.
She
If
currently
if
is
he
down
won
in
something early on,
is
but he's
about
out
to
here
head
looking at
back
these
down to
cattle
El Reno,
and
Oklahoma, to
and it's
go
not
back
because
and
of
be
his
part of the
physical
judging
prowess
team at
or
Redlands
anything like
Community
that.
College.
You know, there was something
finally,
in his dedication and
we have
and wherewithal, you know, to stick to it and all that. You know, I think it really does even
We have
out.
Brent
you
Stewart
know,
from Russell, Manitoba.
Sports are amazing. I'm
Brent
not.
just recently
I'm not
retired
trying
from
to
purebred,
discount
from
sports.
purebred cattle business.
To me, this
is 2 years ago.
something like
He
this.
has
You look at
judged
all these
from
females out here.
Vancouver all
You
the
look
way
at
to
all the
PEI,
ranges that we have.
and
of,
he'd like
of,
everybody to
of
know
chil-
that he used to be
children,
the youngest
you know,
guy at
you know,
these
girls,
kind of shows,
boys,
but now
you know,
he is
ages.
the oldest. Yes,
you know,
the elder statesman of the group.
I
But
truly
let's
do
hear
feel
it
like,
for our
like it's a
fantastic judges. We've got
level
all different
field.
ages and
Wouldn't
all
you say?
different skill.
I do think
Well, not
it's
skill
the-
levels. They're all
the level of
outstanding, but all
competition
different
is-
come
is
from all
upped a
different
couple
types of
notches
of life.
Since we used to show here as kids, the kids are incredible. The talent level of all these kids.
One other thank you
get
we need to
cattle
do.
ready and to have 'em
We'd like to thank Dwight
looking
Dury
their
and
best
Brimacombe
for
Family Farms
whatever
for bringing in the water truck for the wash rack.
whatever
They were the
breed
ones
they
that
are,
were
they
supplying the
get
water
them
for the
all
outdoor
ready
wash
to
rack.
a
So let's get
level that I couldn't do when I was that age, and you know, I was pretty proud of getting cattle ready when I was their age, and I look at these kids and it's become unbelievable how high the level of competition is.
Oh, for sure, and I've had Jaden on today, and but we intended on having more people on. Levi Martin apparently had a wedding to go to. Levi's come and helped us a lot. I don't know if he would have been a firecracker on the mic, but he would have. He would have dang sure gave us some good insight. You know, I gotta admit, you know, we kind of keep
We'll take
the
the time
Canadian
once again
youth
to
as
thank our
our own little I don't know, our own little honey hole, I guess as you say. You know, there's you know, youth that we've been watching up here 4 or 5 years that we're just waiting until they come to the States and go to school down there and are going to be some of the best help that we've ever had, you know, and then we get surprises every now and then by you know, kids that participated a year or two, did not have a known name or reputation, and they end up being some of the best, most dedicated people that we've ever had. And the one downside, you know, to it is I know anybody that comes and helps us, especially from up here, it's only for a short amount of time, because you know they're on their way to great things. You know cow herds, you know businesses and all that. You know, I feel grateful in the time they've come down and helped us. I feel sad whenever we know when they're not going to come and help us anymore, and I feel pride whenever they go on and accomplish great things. And I truly do believe that about all of the youth exhibiting stuff out here. You know, I guess I pity the youth that have to compete against them in jobs in the future.
I think you said that well. The skills that they gain doing this and in the other youth agriculture programs that run throughout the year, those set them up. These kids that come out of agriculture if they go into non-agriculture industry, they have such.
Hello, my name is Dana Razika, and all of us are nieces and nephews of Jaron Arnson. My cousins Hawken and Stella are currently in the ring with cattle. Jaron was all that at Bashaw. Canadian Junior Nationals develops skills and leadership in young people. one competition at a time, learning new things, making lifelong friends, and having a lot of fun along the way. Janine and Jaron first started coming to Basha in 1994 to experience something more. This was long before the Supreme Quest, Heads Up Bracket, Cow Camp, or the impressive quality of the kids and cattle. We started coming to Bashaw when our moms told us that there was a program called Cow Camp. We crafted a little, and then our older cousins, the Dietrichs, gave us an amazing opportunity to show their heifers in the famous Pee Wee showmanship class. Mentors like them gave us an amazing head start. This award has evolved over the years as first our moms and grandparents gave it to the many leaders when they were still showing, but now the award means a lot more when it recognizes the people who are leaders and mentors to us and all the younger participants. One small way that our family can continue to give back to the cattle industry is to recognize a participant at the summer cattle shows that has not only done well at the competitions, but has the passion for the cattle industry, the drive to succeed long-term, people skills to mentor and make new business connections, but has a distinct desire to help people. When we are choosing our winner, we are watching in the show ring, in the barns, at events during the year, during mixer events, and in the wash racks. We really would love nothing more than to recognize a participant that has all that and more. This young person is an outstanding person, a true, well-rounded, and remarkable human being. They are a mentor to many. He does a fantastic job with animals and kids alike. We have watched him throughout the summers, and each time his name has been mentioned as a true helper. A great guy who includes others and enjoys life and all it has to offer. He is incredibly smart and talented and kind, but that is not the reason he is winning this award. We appreciate his zest for life, people, and animals. This year, we again asked other families and participants to weigh in, and then us kids decided the winner, and that is someone we felt deserving an award based on character. This is always a great reflection on great parenting and amazing guidance from others. A unanimous vote from our family. We would love nothing more than to present the Jaron Arnson Memorial Award to Resh Noble.
And so now we're out here. The panel is continuing to make their
Alrighty, so
evaluation.
fantastic. Congratulations to Resh, a great young man, very deserving of a fantastic award. Okay, we'll do this announcement first. The $1,900 that was won in the mini sticks tournament last night is all going to be donated back to the Gary Latimer Memorial Fund. So let's get a round of applause for such care and kids.
So the panel, I think it's going to take them a while. I mean, any input in it would be greatly appreciated. I don't know. Well, I don't even know where you start. Boy, I'd like to have a cheat sheet, because if I did, I think there's a lot of money to be made betting on this day. I'm not a betting man. Mentioned multiple times today. If you could bet on this, then I'd lose a lot of money. But while you want to talk about for everyone that can't be here,
move on to our next point of business. I'm gonna ask Lexi Dietrich to come up and present an award for the Junior Angus.
So as many people know, the Alberta Junior Angus Association every year presents an award to one commercial animal and one purebred animal. And this animal has to attend the 3 shows: Summer Synergy, our Alberta Junior Angus show, and right here, All Breeds. So altogether, the animal accumulates the largest amount of points, and that is how that animal is selected. So I'd like to present this year's commercial Triple Crown winner to Darren Walker with CD Linda 4200. Which I understand that both of these individuals are standing in the ring right now. If you come and find me after, I will present you with the buckle and we'll get a picture taken. For our purebred, our champion this year is Casey Adams with Terron Jaybird 64M. Congratulations, guys.
Fantastic. 2 elite cattle that are out in the ring, and so good on those young members for going to all the shows. We will now have the Max Burris, representative of the Seminole Association. He'll come and speak on their award.
They're making fun of me because I raise full-blood Seminoles.
No, I'm not making fun. I'm defending you. Nikki's making fun of me.
But Nikki's kind of mean because she takes my bull pictures, she takes my bull videos. I pay her a lot of money.
Hello.
And then she still makes fun of me.
Hi everyone, I'm Max Burris. I'm a third-year director on the Alberta YCS board. Every year we present our Running for the Roses buckles determined by our accumulated points from Summer Synergy, our own Wild Rose Classic, and the Junior National All Breeds here in Bashaw. This year I'm very pleased to announce our 2025 recipients. The purebred winner, sponsored by GR Semitoles, goes to Gracie Borson, exhibiting KT Cream Soda 3203. And I know both of you guys are in here, so if you guys can also find me afterwards, and we'll take a picture at the backdrop. And for our commercial champion Running for the Roses recipient, sponsored by Martin Cattle Services, it goes to Sienna Borson, exhibiting CD Dixie Erica 4142.
So sweep by the Borison family in the Seminole Triple Crown, or Running for the Roses, pardon me. Okay, moving right along, we will have Dawn. I'm going to invite Dawn Wilson now to take the mic and talk about the Dwayne Congdon Leadership Award.
We had a great friend that was from Bashaw, longtime cattleman, started in the dairy business, was in the Angus business. He sat on our committee for a lot of years. He was just a great committee member, a tremendous leader. He coached hockey, he coached kids. He was just an awesome guy. In fact, we even got him to dress up as a woman and played Ethel maybe more than 1 year at the Allbreed show back in the day. He was always up for a good time. He was a great man and a tremendous leader. So we wanted to dedicate an award to him in memoriam. We lost him way too young. He's got a great family, and unfortunately, I don't believe any of them are here right now. But so the Dwayne Congdon Leadership Memorial Award this year is recipient will be Lily Howell. She's in the ring. Okay, Lily, come up to us after. Sure. Where are they? Okay, we have some honorable mentions because we have committee members looking all the whole show long. So the honorable mentions are Riley Borson, Winton Brandel, Luke Henderson, Reese Waldman, and Kylie Wilms. And they all have a prize, so please come and get them. And thank you for all of you guys, because it's just a tremendous thing when you guys are mentoring these younger people. Luke Henderson is actually young himself, and I saw him mentoring all week long. So congratulations to all of you. You really are the people who build the foundation for this industry. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to Lily and all the rest of the kids. It's a testament to there's.
Can we do this? Remember, it's just
I'll now invite David Schneider up to the microphone stand, please. He's going to be speaking about the undercover buyer competition, which was a part of the NYC competition this year.
So we're greatly anticipating what David Snyder has to say here coming up. Eloquent, articulate, maybe not, but I bet it will be entertaining. Actually, let's get a little commentary from one of David's very best friends, Scott Bordell again. What do you expect David to say in this little bit of commentary? I mean, it's not going to be anything like much above caveman, but what do you think?
I think they had a lot of fun in the undercover buyer competition. I think it's going to be pretty funny because he might give us some of the secrets of what the kids said and what they talked about, and he didn't make it easy on them in this competition. A lot of them had to deal with some pretty difficult circumstances. Their bull that they just sold died, and they had to call and make things right with the buyers. So I think it was pretty creative what they dreamed up this year.
So on an older note, I've been told that you were there when he was named Fun Boy, and
So we also have a stall award. As you guys have noticed, Jeff Trask was being our amazing barn boss this week and making sure everybody's needs were met and keeping the peace and everything. But he was also secretly the judge of our stall award, and so we're going to be we'll give this award out later, but because these two kids are in the ring. So our stall award winners this year are Hiller and Colin Gardner.
Congratulations to those award winners. Like you said something about the barn boss this week. I hear, have you heard this, Scott, that there are going to be drones deployed next year?
All right, and now we're going to be moving on and presenting the Pam Miller Volunteer Award, and that is Jackie's going to take over for that.
Thank you. Each year we choose somebody who is a volunteer of the year for this show, and based on our mom, Pam Miller, who started the show actually and worked for many years in this show, and loved to volunteer and taught all of her children how to do that too. So this year we would like to honor and recognize one of our committee members, actually, Jill Wildman, for the Pam Miller Volunteer Award.
Congratulations, Jill Wildman. Awesome family.
And Jill will take a picture later.
All right. Fantastic. Okay. Is Dave, I've paged Dave once. If somebody could locate him for me. David Schneider. David Schneider, come on down. I see you. Yes, you.
Oh, here comes Dave. Comes to present an award. We're expecting some deep commentary from Dave. And without ado, here's Dave Snyder.
This year, for part of the NYC program, we did a new contest called the Undercover Buyer. It was seemed to be very well received. Long and short of it is the kids had to roll the dice for a farm scenario, pick bulls out of a catalog, stay within a budget, and then start cold calling selected buyers that we had arranged beforehand to try to sell them bulls. All in all, it was excellent. I commend everybody, all the kids that participated in it. Seemed like we had a lot of good feedback on it. The seniors and intermediates were unbelievable. Just some of the points in the some of the points that I got from it was in the seniors, the top 10 was only separated by 6.7 points from 1 through 10. I think the number 1 and the number 2 were separated by 0.2 of a point. Their sales that they had done and everything else. Intermediates were the same. The top 10 was separated by 14 points. I have a few comments from the buyers that they wanted me to pass on. They said the kids were excellent. They, were very professional. They were blown away. The senior buyers were a little bit harder on the seniors. We were hoping that they would be, just to push them a little bit. Just a few pointers from the buyers. They said most of their bull buyers, and the kids need to remember that most of the bull buyers that you do sell bulls to or cattle to or commercial cattle operations, ask the buyer about their operation and what's going on in their world goes a long ways versus just getting on the phone and talking to them and trying to sell them. He said the other thing is when you have a price in mind on some of the bulls or anything that you go to sell, have a reason of why it's priced that way. There was a couple buyers that asked why it was priced that way, and the kids had to take a few seconds to figure out why they had it priced that way. The competition went well. Paperwork, following up on details was very important. There was forms to fill out, and that it was few contestants had made some deals, but they didn't follow up on the data input, whereas they had lost points and stuff. So overall, it was excellent. For all the seniors and intermediates and juniors, we'll put together your comments from the buyers. We're hoping to get them emailed or messaged out to you here in the next week so that you can get feedback on that. I don't have any prizes as it was part of the whole NYC thing, but I will announce the top 2 for each division. In the juniors, the top salesperson was Tulsa Smith, and second was Blake Fisk. They were separated by 2 points. Intermediate top NYC undercover buyer program was Cam Davidson, and second was Lee Sholigan, which they were only separated by a point. And for the seniors, who went through quite a bit, and I threw them a curveball at the end of it after they had sold all their bulls, that one of their bulls had a problem and they had to go back to the bull buyer. The bull had either died, broke his leg, and there was all kinds of scenarios that they had to roll the dice and go back to the bull buyer and say they had a problem. Top senior was Winton Brandel, and second was Jessica Davies. They were only separated by 0.7 of a point. It was incredible, the feedback and what the kids had done. So even on my end and my wife's end, she was a lot of the brains behind it. You kids came up with scenarios and solutions to problems that we hadn't even thought of, and so I commend everybody for it. We're hoping to integrate it into years to come, and yeah, just congrats to everybody that participated in it.
Thank you, David. Okay, another news on the fly here. For our UFA Supreme Quest, we do, especially for some of our judges who are quite a ways away, we give them just a nice little honorarium. But but the kind our senior member here, their seniorist judge, has kindly donated that $100 back to the show committee. So let's give a round of applause for Brent Stewart for doing this purely all on his own dime. All right. Okay, and now it is time to announce our National Young Cattlemen. So our junior National Young Cattleman, and you heard her name just recently, the champion is Tulsa Smith. Yeah, we'll do pictures as soon as, because I think we've got, yes, our next 2 are both in the ring. But so congratulations to Tulsa. Our intermediate National Young Cattleman is Nevada Murray. And finally, the senior national young cattleman. I believe she won this as a junior as well. It's Taylor Reed. And now we're moving on to the aggregates, and I believe this is a very, very rare occurrence. But our senior aggregate champion is also Taylor Reed. So because of that, and correct me if I'm wrong, the aggregate champion automatically qualifies for NYC the next year. But due to the fact that Taylor just won NYC, she's no longer allowed to compete in it. So the two that will be, and our reserve champion aggregate as well. So I'm also going to tell you who third is, and third will qualify for NYC next year automatically. Yeah, and so on our reserve champion senior aggregate, in the ring as well, it's Casey Adams. And then our third place, who will automatically be in NYC, is Winton Brandel. Our intermediate aggregate champion, we're all in the ring today, it's Hawken Mater. But I must assume right on his heels was his one and only sister, Stella Mater, as the reserve champion. And then our junior aggregate champion, he's in the ring, the one and only Greeley Bob Robertson. And the reserve champion, a man who keeps his stall good and clean, it's Callan Gardner. So congratulations to all of our aggregate champions. Did you say Callan? Yeah, I said Callan. Yeah, I said a man who keeps his stall. Oh, pardon me, Callan. You're an awesome girl, not a guy. So we didn't have a prize, but now we do. Tia Schramm is going to be donating a canvas print to each undercover buyer champion and reserve of their choice from this show. So they'll have a prize. So let's give a round of applause to Tia Schramm for having that great donation, and congratulations to those kids that won the undercover buyer. Okay. So I think now I'm through all of my announcements, so we'll just wait on our judges to be done. I think they're pretty darn close, though.
Well, there's a lot of vocalism there right there. Holy man, we announced a lot of stuff, got a lot of stuff out of the way, recognized a lot of great kids. Back to what this thing's all about, the cattle.
Yeah, I mean, I did think Dave's voice was going to be a little
Okay,
deeper, and I guess
so I've got one more thing to hand out, and this is just cold hard cash. We did the bracket challenge.
Yeah, you know, Dave has been subdued a little bit, and so we can't hold that against him. I mean, you know, we still think he's a man. You still think he's a man, don't you? You know this a long time, Scott.
I know he's a man.
Manish.
He's
Yeah.
He's not afraid to show you.
Exactly. I don't want to know. I don't want any more. Let's talk about these females that are out here in the ring. You know, I honestly gotta say, in the summertime, I don't know if you can go anywhere and find a better group of cattle that represent as big a broad spectrum of the beef industry. Would you think?
Yeah, no, like this rivals Agribition Supreme. Like often the champion here, you know, the champion Agribition is in this pen right now.
Oh,
very well could be this fall. Like, this is as good a set of cattle as you're going to find in the
Oh,
industry.
I can believe it. I think we've been in a couple of junior nationals this year down in the States. We've got big numbers. Big numbers don't mean big quality. I don't know if people truly appreciate the quality that can come out of a 400 head, 300 whatever shows up here show. And I think, I don't know if a whole lot of people listening know the background of this. There are cattle that have qualified this, that have shown at their junior national. So a lot of cattle that they've competed against to get here, that those other cattle don't show up here. Not saying they're not good cattle, but they realize that the cream of the crop is coming here. And heck, there's a lot of cattle that's shown out here today that may not have won, but they're true competitors. I like that about it. They felt like they needed to come out here, and they're going to show in this Supreme deal that they wanted to show in their breed deal, their the open, the commercial, whatever, and try to win that to come out here also. I think that's I think that's an inspiring approach. You're not just sitting back there on your laurels waiting for the Supreme drive, are you?
I mean, I love the diversity. I appreciate that these cattle don't all look the same. I appreciate that functional females come in all different kinds of shapes and sizes. There's good big frame cattle. There's good small frame cattle. There's good all different kinds of types, and we got a good representation of that out here. Is a lot of different types of cattle, but a lot all functional, and the quality that they are in their own breed is this is the highest quality cattle that we have out in Western Canada right now.
So I don't want to. I'm not going to hold either one of you's feet to the fire. Jaden's back here again, assuming the mic's on. Scott's here. I'm not going to hold anybody's feet to the fire and ask for a winner. I'm going to ask each of you to describe your Supreme female to go back in your herd. Let's start with Scott, and then go Jaden, and then maybe I'll talk about at the end of what I think.
Well, I think Scott really has one favorite out here, so.
Well, we can have a favorite breed wise, but I want somebody. I want them to describe me the beef animal they want to put in production. So Scott, go first.
Yeah. Okay. So, like Nikki said, I am a little biased. I grew up, really driving the cutability conversation. That's what my dad brought me up doing. We talk about cutability in cattle. We're in the beef industry. We're trying to make this carcass as profitable as it possibly can. But we're looking at a ring of females here, and they need to be functional. And they need to,
sustainable.
When you tear them down, they have to, number one, they have to be so sound that you have to not be worried about any of these cows, even though they're born this year or in the last few years, all the females in this class, when they're 10 years old, you want them to still be moving, and you never want to have to worry about these cows, because these cows here are going to have hundreds and hundreds of descendants that are littered throughout the beef industry, and they have to be sound females. They have to sound structure. They got to have sound udders. They got to be quiet. There's all these things that we all want in our females at home. And I think those are the things that are not negotiable, and then we can talk about what we have preferences for after that.
So we're in your selection process, would hide and pigment play into it? Like color of livestock.
Yeah, color of cattle. I mean, when in my selection for myself, I raise red Limousin cattle. I don't raise black ones, but in selecting cattle out of this ring, I don't care what color they are.
Amen. I was hoping that was the answer you'd give me. I knew it was the answer you would give me. and we'll go to Jaden after this. I don't know how much time we have, but just describe to me not which animal out here, but phenotypically describe me your supreme champion.
Well, to start off for me, I like to start from the ground and work my way up. I'm looking for something that's really good-footed, good-legged, big bone for the country that we're in and what we need our cows to do. Coming in second, udder quality is also very important. We sell a ton of replacement females, and our cow herd is very based off the female side of things. But with that being said, you also need a female that can go out and raise something, not just a 600-pound steer, but if you can get pushing that 800 weight, that 900 weight pound steers, for us to make a go at it and keep going strong, you need females that are not only holding their own condition well, but they can also raise a calf that is big enough and productive enough. So I'm looking for good, sound, well-structured females that are super productive in my herd, and from there it can vary, and you can have good and bad. You might have a female with maybe not the picture-perfect udder, but she might have a way bigger calf, and I feel like you might have a bigger udder on a female, but you still might have a bigger, heavier calf in the fall, and that is something I am willing to put up with. If and there's a lot of people that might not agree on that, and I still think you need some structure to that udder and good sound-footed cattle, but in the end of the day, it's what they're raising is what's coming out to you.
Well, and I like to take on a producer because and at this stage of it, you know, we're into the short hairs, you know, the nitpicking, you know, we you know, we're going to beat a cow with a tipped udder that has an 800-pound, you know, January calf on her. Should we? Probably not. But you know, you're getting nitpicking. So I like honestly, I like the honesty. I like the honesty that hey, in my cow herd, you know, a good milking one, acceptable uddered, raising a big calf is going to be productive, be kept back in the herd. We're not going to color because that udder isn't perfect. We're going to work on that next mating, correct? And where does, for you, same question for Scott, where does pigment come in for you? Like how far up in the you know, when you're grading cattle, where does pigment lie?
Well, I won't lie to you here. We sold most of our black cows, and we bleed red pretty strong, and more just to have uniformity in our calves and like have a matching set of calves when you bring them into town. Buyers really seem to like that. But at the end of the day, a good cattle is good cattle, and it really doesn't matter color. We do try to have some uniqueness throughout our cattle, and with that is color and pigmentation. We like a big dark red baldy, but don't kid yourself, some of our better cows at home are black, and in the end of the day, it just depends on structure and quality.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I asked the question with both of you guys knowing the answer I was going to get, because true cattlemen, you know, color pigment's the last thing that matters. I do realize that when we ship calves, you know, dark-hatted cattle generally do bring a little bit more, but that's not a constant, you know. Oh, it looks like we're going to have some results. I hate to cut the commentary short here. Really had a few more questions I was going to ask of these guys. Have a few dating questions I was going to ask of Nikki. I guess I don't. We're going to get into that. Haven't heard how Huey's doing. There's a lot of stuff we didn't get into today, and we might just keep talking until they decide they want to interrupt us. You know, as far as the confirmation of the females out here in front of us, I don't know if everybody's been to a Supreme deal. I'm assuming everybody that's listening. And here we go.
Best judges, and so Alana Miller is going to give us some comments on this great, outstanding, amazing set of cattle.
Well, what an honor it is to be here today sorting through these elite females. I think we really need to give these juniors a round of applause. It takes a lot of work and effort to get to this point here, and it didn't just start this morning or last week. In some cases with some of these females, it started years ago. You have hopes and plans and dreams. Did I pick the right sire? Did the embryo stick? Did she stick to her AI? And then you got to get that calf on the ground and alive, and then you got to keep it alive. And you go on your pasture checks, and you get to weaning time, and there's always that one where you're like, yes, this one is special. And of course, it doesn't end there. It continues on with feed and show prep, and even this morning, did they eat? Did they drink? Did they fill? There's a whole lot of things that have to come together to get to this point, and it takes a lot of work and a little bit of luck. And so at this point, I tell you all to thank your parents, thank your brothers and sisters, your aunts, your uncles, your friends, because it truly takes a village to get to this point, to have these cattle look this way in this ring today. And, you look around, there's a lot of maternal power, there's a lot of substance and quality. A lot of these females are going to go out this fall into the open shows, and they're still going to be competitive. And I think that bodes well for our industry with the youth and the direction that it's going in. I'm really proud, and I think that our industry is in good hands. With that, I want to thank the show organizers, the volunteers, the sponsors, NRCS for covering the show, 70 Media as well. Without them, we also wouldn't have a show here today. So thank you so much. With that, I'm not going to take up any more time on the mic, but our juniors are going to go out and select our Supreme Champion female. Congratulations.
Just give me a second. Alrighty, folks. There can only be one winner.
Here we go. We're coming down to it. There's, I assume we're going to do the walkabout for a little bit because that's what Canadian people do.
We like the tension, don't you know,
You do.
Mark?
You do. Like the tension. You go up and down. You come back and forth.
Maybe even do around and around.
Or you might.
'Cause that's
you
what
might.
it's all about.
Hey, but I do believe. I hope we're going to let this young man here in the glasses do the slapping. That will make the highlight of my week. I like this little guy from the time I got here. I've seen him walk in the ring 4 or 5 times. Woo! It'll be a Simmental pair from Cade Rancer.
Hey, Nikki Ross.
Congratulations.
Grand
That was the
champion,
Simmental right
UFA
there.
Supreme Quest female is the entry from
Nikki
Cade
loses,
Rancer.
Jaden wins.
RF
Don't
Scream
get, don't get
3121
without
with
having
calf
full
at
blood.
side. RF Scream 5141.
So are we going to pick a reserve now, Nick? Ask Elena. Elena.
Okay, we're gonna excuse the
one
rest of
moment.
the animals. Start getting some pictures taken. So congratulations to Cade and the
That's
crew.
all
We'll
we're
send them
doing
a
out there.
picture
What a
backdrop
show.
and all of our aggregate and
say goodnight to everybody. I'm
NYC
sure y'all are
winners
done
and
watching
any
this,
other awards. Head over to the
but
picture backdrop. We got to get all
once
those
again,
photos.
if anybody
okay.
ever has the opportunity to come to Young Cattlemen's, the all breeds, I never came to as a child. My wife, all of her family did.
Here's some final announcements as well, folks. We thank you all so much for
we
coming
may not
today.
go to Jamaica
throughout
or
the
anything
thing,
like that on
but
vacation.
we
but we will
still a little
come
bit
up
of
here,
housekeeping.
for the rest of their lives and the rest of my lives. And I invite everyone that has the opportunity to come up here and experience what truly being part of an agricultural beef community is. Please come up. With that being said, I don't know if Scott, which has been up here probably close from day one, has anything that he wants to say out, or Jaden, play us out. But please do if you'd like to.
Yeah, no, what a weekend. Appreciate number one all the all the effort put in by the people that planned this show and put it on. The best shows have the best volunteers. So.
Hey, is there any way? Is this ending or is there a? I know we need to get pictures. Is there a chance that we could get Cade to come and
Jaden is actually on that already.
very good. Just if we can get him to come over here and just talk a little bit about the female. Jaden, did you go get him?
Well, I tried, but he said, "Oh no." But I think he's making his way.
No, please. Somebody jump over the fence and so somebody jump over the fence, Jaden. And hey, Cade, we just want you to speak a little bit about what it means to you to be here at the Young Cattlemen's and to bring this female back and experience this. It's been an intense week. Lucky for all the bracket cattle, this thing didn't get the show in it. We might have had a way different outcome. And so just if you don't mind talking with Jaden and just tell us a little bit about what it means to be here.
It's been pretty cool. I've been pretty cool. We halter broke this female this spring, actually, Abby and myself, and kind of just been working away at her. And her mom won it in 2021, I think. And
wow, so this spring y'all broke this thing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. I mean, I'm just gonna get a little. I'm gonna get a lot there. That's a ballsy maneuver, to grab one out of the pasture and have that sort of confidence in her. What were y'all thinking? I know your family. I know you have good livestock in the barn all the time. You just saw her, so that's the one, huh?
We definitely saw potential in her. She was pretty green when we found her, but kind of got her fed now to, I think, a pretty good spot going into the fall show run here. And I look forward to bringing her out this fall, hopefully.
Oh, so you'll for sure bring her out this fall?
Yeah, there's a chance.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be awesome. I guarantee. I think everybody's gonna be watching it. Hoping to see this female come back and I think it just makes everything better for the Young Cattlemen's that you take one that wins here and if she can go out there and really get it done. Too bad we can't win a truck no more. I know they don't do that, but we can still win a Supreme here or there, can't we?
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to do it. It's exhibited her mom a couple of years ago there and had a pretty good run with her, and it'd be cool to follow.
Well, I can't lie. Your dad's been a very good friend of mine for a lot of years. I can't even imagine how far back that goes, and I'd be lying if I didn't say I was rooting for you guys, along the way. And I'm so glad to see such a good family, a great animal, and a good story come to the top. I don't know if Scott has anything to add, but if you have anybody you want to thank along the way, go ahead, please do it.
Thanks to my parents and my sister for helping me break her and get her ready to come here. And it's anybody that's helped us fit or worked with us along the way. It's been a pretty cool summer. So,
man, that's flat amazing. We ain't gonna keep you a lot longer. We know you gotta go get some pictures, some great pictures, some lifelong memorable pictures. I'm gonna say, hey, congratulations, man.
Thank you very much.
I know your father more than I know you, but it's a chip off the old block, and congratulations.
Thank you very much, guys.
Congratulations, Kate.
Thank you.
Good job, man.
Thanks very much.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
How many more do you have at home? I don't care what I do till then. We're gonna be drinking all fucking night, so yeah. We can start another podcast on the good story. Oh man.
There's two on